Why is it when you need a miracle, it doesn't happen, but when you least expect it, it happens?
You are married. You have challenges in your relationship, but your spouse is unwilling to accede to any counseling. Is divorce an option?
How does a parent handle a promiscuous child?
What are considered the do's and don'ts of a born again couple who is not yet married?
There are always more questions than answers. So here is Apostle Jemma.
This presentation comes from the archives of Ask Pastor Jemma. Please note that the following announcements are up to date.
Welcome to Ask Pastor Jemma. I'm happy that you took the time to be with me this morning. And this morning, we're still on the topic, I'm a newlywed, but we have challenges in fully adjusting to each other help. This is the third of our series, and we talked about how to try to make the adjustment easier. There are two fundamental things that would be needful and necessary: effective communication and compromise. If we could get these things working together, then it makes the adjustment easier. I want you to know they'll always be adjusting, and despite how many years you're married, if you stick with me for this entire series, I'll tell you that 40-something years down the road, we are still adjusting because a number of changes happening over the years in a marriage. And every time you move into a new season in marriage, you have to adjust. But we will come to that in a bit. Now, we looked at 7 common issues that we all face, and we dealt with money and finances. We dealt with in-laws. We dealt with schedules and time management. Today, we're going to look at what we call annoying habits. But before we go into that, if you're a first-time viewer, my name is Jemma Duncan. My husband and I, Apostle Vivian Duncan, are the pastors of Divine Destiny Worship Center. Our headquarters is located in Diego Martin on the Diego Martin Main Road, opposite Sardonynx Drive in Trinidad. We have branches in Trinidad, in Diego Martin, Sangre Grande, Chaguanas, and Faizabad. There's a branch in Tobago and one on the island of Antigua. If you're going to adjust to somebody in terms of relationship and marriage long term, everybody has annoying habits. Every single person has habits that, get on your nerves or drive you crazy. And what I've found is we are amazing as human beings. Many times when we first meet the person, it seems to be cute. Some of the things they do, they're acceptable. Yeah, we in love. According to Vivian, we in love. And these habits don't annoy you as much. But after you start to live with that person, it becomes very, very, very annoying. And so, for example, this one, some people can't control, like snoring. So, some people snore like a train, and you literally cannot sleep. My grandfather used to change gears while he's snoring. He's snorting all in between. You go first gear, second gear, them truck. You're going. You literally can't sleep. And so if we love each other, then there has to be some kind of compromise with the snoring if it cannot be resolved medically or whatever else you do. And to the point that, the husband, whoever is the snorer, you probably snuggle a little bit and then creep and go in the next room and sleep, because after a while you really need to sleep, and nothing is wrong if there's an issue like that where you need to just go in another room to sleep. So you snuggle, and for a while, if you have to put your wife to bed or wherever it is, and then you go and snore in the next room or something. So, and then when you wake up 5 o'clock in the morning, you come back. So I fall asleep with you there, and I wake up and you're there, and you went to snore somewhere else. A simple thing like, for example, like you have the flu or cough, and sometimes that person cannot see the night. If the bedroom is next door or adjoining, sometimes if you want that person to sleep, they have to go to work the next day. You probably can just slip over and sleep in the next room. I remember once I had this bad flu, and he wasn't getting to sleep. I went over, and he wouldn't let me close the door. So it was facing each other. He let our bedroom door open. The other be said, Jemma, don't close the door. I want to be able to hear. So I might as well stay there if everything you want to hear. You know what I mean? But we have to make some adjustments, right? Some people are just noisy in what they do. For example, we have different bedtimes. So some people, are morning people, some are late night people, whatever your habit is. But the person who is the morning person, morning in the sense that you wake up 4 o'clock in the morning or something, so, but you're noisy. I can't get up 4 o'clock. So you get up 4 o'clock and you're brushing your teeth loud, the water going heavy, you're hitting, slamming, thing, you know what I mean? You're making tea on your head, the kettle whistling, you're making tea and the teaspoon rattling, the wares rattling. Come on. In other words, those are annoying habits. And it might seem like nothing to you, but it's a big thing because remember that person is different. Right? So if I know that I'm an early morning person and I tend to make that kind of a noise, then you have to close the door. Sometimes people, you get up early and you're slamming the door, you're closing it hard, everything is noisy. And some people are just given to noise, and sometimes as your background, everything, you slam the doors, and so on. I have to creep around knowing that my partner is generally not a morning person or a night person, whatever it is, and that person sleeping at that particular time. So if I'm doing something, Vivian is sleeping, my study, I just pull the door in. Because I might want to be playing music softly while I'm working and all of that, but he's sleeping right there. I can't make noise and he needs to rest. So in other words, these little things, nothing is wrong in itself, but it could be very annoying, and as the years go by, it could really bother you, right? So dropping clothing on the floor, wow. You could follow some people, the track. They just take off something and they drop it here. Sometimes not on the floor, but on a chair. From the time you come in the house, you find something on your shoe somewhere by the kitchen or the front door. The socks somewhere, roll up somewhere. The shirt, and well, from the time I call the clothing, I kind of know who normally guilty of that. You know what I mean? Hello. Right? You take a shower and you come and sit down on the bed and the wet towel on the bed, and those are some of the annoying habits that bother people. Women, well, one of the biggest annoyances is nagging. Everything is talk, and I'm guilty, as many of us are, but then it took me a long time to realize that nagging doesn't work. He ain't listening. He's not taking you on. So how long are you going to talk when he ain't taking you on? Because they tend to know how to turn you off. He not listening. And I can tell you, when he not listening, because afterwards he might ask you something that I say in the nagging. And I say, but I was just quarreling that. So if I just quarrel that and he asked me, I mean he wasn't listening while I was talking. Right? And so you have to love that person with their quirks. However, it means that we have to communicate and try to adjust, to make adjustments. For example, like I said, try to be quiet, close the door, the bathroom door. You don't have to just close it softly. Make sure that whatever you're doing in the shower, everything not too loud. If you're brushing the teeth, you have to be hawking and spitting loud and all of that, and so that the other person's asleep. You realize that it bothers your partner, your wife, when the clothing is everywhere, then try picking up after yourself and so on. And I tell women, listen, there are two things that you could do. Either you pick it up and not quarrel, or you leave it. Because what we do is, we pick it up but we quarrel. Now if you're going to pick it up and quarrel, then he not listen to you when you quarrel, so he leaving it there for you to pick up. So sometimes you leave the shoe on ice seat somewhere, push somewhere, and when you're ready for it, you want to know where it is. How do you mean where it is? What shoe? Where? Go that to help me sometimes, because I always tell God, don't let lightning strike me because I see the shoes. I have to say, Father, please, I beg you, looking, you can't find the shoe. Wherever you put it, go look. After a while, you have to be considerate. It's a bother. We talked about it. Ladies don't quarrel, say, you know what I mean? Come on. The clothes basket is there. It would be nice for you to just put your things there. If that person has the tendency to drop things like in the kitchen or wherever is the first place of entrance, maybe you should put a little basket there. Buy a nice, cute basket. They have some nice looking ones. And if that is where the person tend to drop things, perhaps it might be a good idea to put something looking nice. So, and then the joke is, I don't want to laugh. No, you buy this nice, cute basket and he'll put it on top the cover. Instead of opening the basket. So every time you hear the car, just go quickly and open the basket for him so he doesn't put it on top the cover and so on. So in other words, we love that individual and don't allow the quirks to become major. Let's talk about it, and if there is a way that we could adjust, to help, then we try to adjust it, right? Avoid condemnation and harsh criticisms. And especially if it's something that, like snoring and so on, that the person cannot control, you know what I mean? There's very little they could do, especially if they try all the different methods that the doctors may say, or, they hear people say, try this, try that, and so on. Remember, it's an entire package, and whatever the little quirks are, whatever these annoying habits are, it comes with the package. So you have to take the whole package. And when he annoys you or she annoys you, think about all the things you love about that individual. And let the annoyance go to the background. Okay. Another factor, and it's a little lower down, number 5 is housework. One of the things that you have to talk about early in the discussions, in the council, and before you get married, is division of labor in the house. Now, I'll tell you what happens to us as ladies when we just get married and you have no babies yet. You don't mind doing everything because you're so love and do every single thing. Though, when baby number 1 comes, he's accustomed to being pampered. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't help you in any way. And he may just function as normal, as per normal. He doesn't even realize that he needs to now pitch in a little bit because there's a baby. So most times with baby number 1, all right, we could be baby number 2 and he's still sitting down reading the papers expecting you to bring juice and tea for him. Then, you really want to bring the juice and do something other than giving him the juice to drink. You know what I mean? So we have to talk, and probably it doesn't dawn on him that you really need help at this stage. So that's something that you have to sit down and say, you know what, before I love you and I didn't mind serving you in that manner then, but now we have 2 children, it's very difficult. I really need you to help me. So either you take the baby while you're sitting down, that's all right, and let me see about this, but you can't have me running, the baby crying, then the toddler pulling me here and there, and you enjoying your juice and your coffee, drinking tea or something. So you have to talk about it, right? Now you've become a team, everybody must contribute to what happens in the household. And even if you decide that this is what generally he will do, there are some men, certain things they're not doing. They ain't washing no clothes, they ain't washing no wares or whatever. It's fine. Whatever you will agree with, if you know that person really don't want or don't like to do things, then what are you going to do about it? However, when illness comes or you have to go to the hospital to have babies and they come out from the hospital or something like that, then gentlemen, you have to wash the wares, you know what I mean? Or get a dishwasher or something. There are certain ways around everything, right? And even when you both agree as to what should be done in terms of shared responsibility, it would be nice to surprise your partner ever so often and do something that generally you don't do. So, as a gentleman, washing is not what I normally will do, but of course you have to pay attention to what your wife is doing, because sometimes you want to surprise her to wash, and listen, it's not a good surprise because you did not sort the clothes, and when she come the white things pink, it's not a good surprise. And, she would have preferred if you didn't help at all, right? But you pay attention to what she does and so on and say, you know what, she came around a little late or she has to do something extra. Well, that would be nice if when she comes home, you did something. And I remember sometimes if you would do that occasionally when the children, I would come home and we had the small children and thing, and I would see some kind of macaroni meat pie in the oven already, and that's nice because I'm thinking, what am I going to cook this evening or something? So when I come home and meet something already cooked, which is really very nice, So sometimes as a wife, you could also do something nice for him and so on. And although it's not your duty, some people really kind of legalistic and say, no, that's yours, that's mine. No, there are times when we could, be nice to each other. One of the problems that some people have is weight gain and personal hygiene. Some people, it's a major issue. Especially when it's almost always men who have issues with women when you gain weight. We accept our men folk anyhow they look. You marry him thin and with hair, and he gets bald and we love the bald head. You marry him with 6-pack, and the 6-pack become, I don't know, like a whole case. And we love them. We love you with your punch. We love you just how you're looking. But you have a problem with us and the weight gain and all of that. No, you have to know the person that you marry and what it means to that individual. So I am saying you really have to try to see how best you please that individual if that is a huge thing for him. Now they say, gentlemen, that in order to have a sense of what your wife will look like, look at her mother. So sometimes it don't always work. So, but it's a good guide, and see if you can handle mommy in the future, right? If you want to maintain a healthy lifestyle, if being slim is important to you, why don't you do it together? So try to maintain a healthy lifestyle, walk or run together. Sometimes one person walking, one person running. Whoever it is, the runner of two of you maybe can't run, road run, but one person could run. So you go ahead and run, right? We go around the savannah, I'm walking around, you running, you make as many turns as you can, and I can only make 2 or 1. But that will help you. If you're talking about diet, then all of us could eat the same thing together. So if you want to help your partner maintain weight loss because it's important to you, then why not try to join them in eating that same kind of food? Of course, you could have something ever so often, and that you just enjoy, simply for enjoying and all of that. But as a practice, if both of you practice eating the same kind of food, it makes it easier for the person who has to lose the weight. Now, in terms of personal hygiene, sometimes you can become very comfortable in the relationship. Clean is more attractive. Foul body odor is a turn off, and I don't think we need to tell you a lot more than that. Now, come on now. Before you took care of yourself, you used to smell really good. And suddenly, because we get married, I don't mean that I could, come and not smell nice. And, gentlemen, you have to know the lady, she a little picky. She don't like you sweaty. Come on, then take the shower. It works, however, it works for two of you. But some women, some of us are a little extreme too. Don't be too extreme. I've known women talk to me and they say, for example, like we go to church like at night and you shower before you go to church. Now they expect the husband to also shower. You must shower before you come to bed. And I'm saying I can't see that as compulsory unless he's the preacher and he sweat, And even so, if the preacher want to come to bed, that's me. I'm talking about me. I don't really care, I love you anyhow, right? But if I just come to church, it's 7 o'clock, I just bathe. I reach 10 o'clock home. But some people, you must shower. You can't come in that bed and you didn't shower and you make a further relationship. He don't want to shower. He's tired. And I'm saying don't make an issue over with that kind of a thing. However, both of you could kind of sort yourself out and so on and so forth. The person not smelly, they ain't stinky. You know what I mean? That is what you talk about. You have to deal with. We talk about body odor. We talk about your mouth. It's intimacy you're talking about. We sleeping together, we hugging, we touching. It's important because it's kind of hard to bear. So we need to take care of our physical bodies in order to enhance intimacy. Again, I really hope I helped you. These things are simple, but not because we married a long time. I could ignore my personal appearance and hygiene. It will always be important. As important as those things were when we were courting, they also are equally important. However, we have to be careful that when our body changes, that you don't reject your partner simply because there's a physical body change. Some people do that. They don't want you because you get fat or you get this or something happened to you and all of that. When we take the vows gives the idea that, listen to me, changes could come, but I must love you and stay with you and be committed to this relationship despite whatever changes there are. As far as it lies between you to try to adjust, then we do that. But don't throw the baby out with the bathwater when something happens, because what I've found is, in my personal experience, that many times you leave somebody just for physical appearance, go with somebody who looks better. Usually that person who looks better is usually a land back at the mercy of the person you left in the first case. It happens over and over, and they have to have God in them now to help you and they look in the exact same way you left them. So I just throw in a little caution here.
There's no hurt that can outlive the grace you freely give. It's the raging flood that covers us for the thoughts that come to decay. You've sent love to strip them away, and you've left the truth that we're free in you. There is no bondage, every chain is broken. There is no bondage, Jesus' arms are open. No guilt, no shame, all my stains erased. There is no bondage, every chain is broken.
Grace and peace to you. My name is Jemma Duncan. My husband, Apostle Vivian, and I are the pastors of Divine Destiny Worship Center. We have branches in Trinidad, Indigo Martin, Sangre Grande, Shogunas, and Faizabad. We have one branch in Tobago and a branch on the island of Antigua. Today, I want to introduce to you what I consider a life-altering program. A program that is destined to change the trajectory of your life forever. And a program that caters from the pulpit to the pews. I'm going to share just parts of two scripture verses. 2 Timothy 2:15. It says, "Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needed not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth." And secondly, Ephesians chapter 6 verse 17, which says, "And take the helmet of salvation, the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God." I want you to answer these questions honestly. Do you want to understand the Bible better? Would you like to overcome the difficulty of grasping the content of the Bible? Is it challenging for you to remember your pastor's sermons? Do you feel that you retain very little from your Bible reading? We have the solution to that problem. School of the Bible. Let me tell you a little bit about School of the Bible. School of the Bible was established as an offering from Divine Destiny Worship Center in 2014. It's a one-year program. We meet every Tuesday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's an online program, and until we get enough persons who are willing to come to a physical class, it will remain online. We've served over 800 students from USA, Europe, Canada, the Caribbean islands, and Trinidad and Tobago over those years from 2014, 10 plus years. And you can choose from 4 tracks: the all-in track, the auditing track, the auxiliary track, and the ancillary track. The all-in track is the one, obviously, that you have to do all the work. And it is work. It's a school, it's a one-year study, it's work. You have a pre-test, a post-test. Initially, the pre-test is just to determine how much you know. And the post-test is to determine how much you learned over the period. You have to do assignments and assessments, book reports, and group reports, because you'll be put in a group. And 1 5-minute sermonette is compulsory for the entire year, just 5 minutes, because we want to teach you how to share the gospel and convince somebody in as little as 5 minutes. The auditing track, again, you have to do the pre-test and post-test, but no assessment, no assignments. You have to do the book reports, individual and group reports, and 1 sermonette. The auxiliary track is less work again. Pre-test, post-test, book reports, group reports, individual report. But for the auxiliary group, The book report is just a 2-page summary. The other groups will have to do full-length book reports and the sermonette. The fourth group is called the ancillary track, and all you are obligated to do is 90% attendance. You must be on camera and you must participate in a group because you will be placed in a group. The required materials, your Bible, you must have a computer, laptop, or a tablet, or an iPad, and 7 SOTB, or School of the Bible manuals that we will provide for you. And these 7 manuals are the books of the law, the books of history, the books of poetry, the books of prophecy, the Gospels, the letters of Paul, the general letters, and Revelation. Contact us at Divine Destiny Worship Center, DDWC, phone number 1-868-633-3780 or sotb@ddwc.net. Request a brochure and one will be sent to you. See you in School of the Bible in 2026.
Then Moses said, "Please, show me your glory." Exodus chapter 33 verse 18 in the Amplified Bible. In the spring of 2022, after 2 years of the COVID-19 pandemic, God said that it was time for His church to begin preparing for the next Great Awakening. He said that what was coming next was a manifestation of His glory on a level that our generation had never seen before. While we have no quantitative means to prove the full extent of this, we believe that many Christians across the globe have also been looking forward to this unprecedented outpouring of the Holy Spirit. Some call it revival fire, while others call it a sovereign move of God. Some call it a shift in the Spirit, or any other number of titles. Nevertheless, we're all in some way or another referring to the same thing. God's presence will be manifested on the earth in such a remarkable fashion that it will forever change the trajectory of the Church of Jesus Christ first, and then the world. This book, Knowledge of the Glory, Preparing for the Next Great Awakening by author Duncan, is a prophetic message from God to help His church prepare for it. Available in paperback, hardcover, and e-book formats. Pick up your copy today at Amazon.com or any major online bookseller.
I don't want you to ever forget what Jesus says. He says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father except by me. God bless you real good.